Hello, pilots, and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. As always, my name is Phil, and today we have a classic Resistance versus First Order mashup. And that's right, we do have some new ships on the table as well. Been able to crack these out and have a go with them, and I have to say, I think they're brilliant. I really enjoy these ships, so it'll be great to see how this game goes between Wes and Quinn. But joining me to commentate this, we have
James. I am excited to see these new ships in action. I got my Y-Wings the other day. I've not had a chance to use them yet. Just let's see what these things can do.
Oh, they are really good. We had a lot of new ships flying around at the store when we were down recording, as you can imagine. I think pretty much everyone was flying something new. But yeah, they are brilliant. So I think we'll just crack straight in and run through those lists. James, you are obviously a massive Resistance fan. Did you want to let us know what Wes is flying?
Yeah, sure. So Wes has brought Zori Bliss in the Resistance Y-Wing with marksmanship, a dorsal turret, the wartime loadout, and some proton torpedoes. Wes has also brought Wilsa Teshlo, I think it's how that's said, also in the Y-Wing with a dorsal turret, a hull upgrade, the wartime loadout, and proton torpedoes. And then rounding out the list is Venny in the Star Fortress with advanced optics, perceptive co-pilot, ray gunner, a veteran turret gunner, and his own hull upgrade. What has Quinn brought for the First Order?
So Quinn has got Blackout in the TIE Silencer with trick shot and proton torpedoes, really doubling down on Blackout's ability there. We've got Kylo Ren with the TIE Whisper and the much talked about Shattering Shot Force ability and Trick Shot talent card with concussion missiles and the enhanced jamming suite. And rounding that list off is Agent Terex in the G-Class shuttle with Fanatical, Biohexacrypt codes, rigged cargo chute, and contraband cybernetics.
There's a lot of upgrades on 3 ships apiece, and also there's a lot of munitions.
Yes, this is a lot of munitions, especially considering we only actually have, well, we have 3 bombers on the table technically, but
yeah, and no bombs.
And no bombs. But what I find also quite interesting is that there are no munitions on Venny at all, and they are everywhere else.
That is true, yes.
I mean, you could even say that Agent Terex has a form of munition in the rigged cargo chute as well.
Yeah, he's got something he can launch, I suppose.
I mean, it's an upgrade we don't see very often. Yeah, I mean, we don't see rigged cargo chute very often, so it'd be interesting to see if that actually gets triggered and how it gets triggered. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot happening on the table today with new stuff, and I'm going to jump straight in and ask the question that I've seen all over social media. Wartime loadout.
Yeah.
Is it something you would definitely look to pick, or do you prefer the standard ability of the BTA NR2?
I think both are totally viable. It depends what you want to do with it. Like the wartime loadout is a very cheap double shield upgrade at the end of the day that gives you access to a torpedo slot and a missile slot. The only downside is, I mean, you get a decent ability for it, but you trade out what is also a very good ship ability.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think the ship ability is cool if the wartime loadout ship ability is cool if it triggers. But what I also like about it is the fact that you get a white reload and white target lock.
Yes, there is also that.
I think 4 points, I mean, I hope they don't, but I definitely imagine that going up in the next points update.
I think it might. I mean, so just to clarify, the base ship ability that you replace with the wartime loadout is intuitive interface. After you perform an action added to your action bar by an elite upgrade, an illicit upgrade, or a modification upgrade, you may perform a calculate action. And you could throw on an engine upgrade, do a boost, get a calculate. Throw on expert handling, do a barrel roll, get a calculate.
target a computer, do a target lock, get a calculate, double modding.
Yeah. The only downside for the double modding is that you then wouldn't have the proton torpedoes that you get through the wartime loadout.
Yeah.
And the protons work really well with the wartime loadout because of how that works. So that also gives you the devastating barrage ability as the ship ability. While you perform a torpedo or missile attack, if the defender is in your bullseye, your critical results cannot be cancelled by evade results. So I think that is what Zori in this game is definitely doubling down on, with marksmanship as well as the proton torpedoes.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of doubling down on that crit capability there. It's almost like the new Annie crit bot, as it were, which incidentally, given the new update, is now not a possibility anymore. So, but I mean, personally for me, I really like the wartime loadout. The extras are great, but the double shields for 4 points, that is an absolute bargain.
Yeah, 4 points to go from, was it a 7 health ship to a 9?
Yeah.
And a 9 health ship is good.
And those 2 extra health being shields as well. So that's also your crit protection there. I think it's fantastic.
And if that's not enough for you, go the Will Sateshlo route and throw on a hull upgrade for even more health.
Which is just absolute insanity. I mean, 10 health on a small base ship. And
yeah, I mean, this build of, Wilsa is 43 points. And you've got a dorsal turret, 2 guns out the front, and 10 health.
Yeah. It's just great.
That's efficient points, I think.
I mean, I will say that a lot of the new ships, their pointage is very
I haven't
efficient.
put the proton torpedoes on this build. Sorry, 55 with the protons.
Still, considering proton torpedoes are 12 points, 55 points for that is still really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got enough in there to have an i5 in Zori, who's also not extremely expensive, an i4 with Wilsa, and you've got Veni, who is arguably...
Veni with a load of stuff on him.
Yeah, I mean, you've managed to fit Ray on there, and Veteran Turret Gunner, and Perceptive Co-Pilot. I mean, Veni is just... I think Veni's the best staff fortress in the game.
Yeah, his ability of, while you defend, if the attacker is in a friendly ship's turret arc, which obviously works well here with the Y-Wings, you may add 1 focus result to your roll. So having, double focus with Perceptive Co-Pilot, a force token with Ray, you're going to be able to transfer those into that free focus and get an evade result.
Yeah, and then obviously if you've managed to trigger Perceptive Co-Pilot, you might have to spend a focus early on to defend, but you should hopefully have a focus towards the end of that and then be able to get quite a good shot there. And especially with advanced optics as well, if you haven't actually got a focus result, but you've got a blank and you haven't been able to trigger the ability, you can change that as well. It's a great output from Veni there.
It's just so weird that Veni, this massive ship has 3 more health than the Y-Wing.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
What?
I mean, when I was doing the overlay for this, I kept seeing 10 on hull, and I was going, that can't be right, that can't be right. And then I kept having to remind myself, Veni has a hull upgrade as well. So...
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I mean, the disparity between how much health is on Wes's side compared to Quinn's side is quite apparent.
Significant, yeah. But Quinn's brought some cool stuff. Like, Blackout with Trick Shot is a match made in heaven, or I guess it's the First Order, so maybe hell.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a great combo. Obviously, Trick Shot is just fantastic. While you perform an attack that is obstructed by an obstacle, roll 1 additional attack die. Combine that with his ability of, while you perform an attack, if the attack is obstructed by an obstacle, the defender rolls 2 fewer defense die. That's a 3 die swing in your favor there.
Yeah.
So that is brilliant.
And then Kylo's kind of doing the same thing. He's also got Trick Shot, but he's also got Shattering Shot, which you mentioned when you went through the list. Do you want to read out how that works?
Yes.
That's a new one.
So Shattering Shot is the force ability. Again, a lot of talk about combining these two. While you perform an attack, if the attack is obstructed by an obstacle or the defender is at range 0 of an obstacle, you may spend 1 force to add a focus result. So it doesn't actually have to be obstructed if the ship is on the obstacle.
I quite like that change.
Yeah. It just gives it that little bit extra, because obviously it's only 3 points, but you are spending a force to do it. And force is, I think, a very expensive commodity, as it were. It's something you have to think about when you're using. So it's really, really cool. But I mean, one thing I do like with Blackout as well, which I think has to be mentioned because I think some people might forget about this. Trick shot is just when you perform an attack. It doesn't specify what type primary. Of attack. So
you could get the protons off with that as well.
That could be a 5 dice proton torpedo attack with less dice for your opponent.
And in this case, there would just be no dice for the resistance, because they're lacking in agility here.
Yeah, you'd basically be going, I'm going to throw 5 dice with a target lock, maybe a focus, I'm going to turn 1 to a crit. How much are you going to eat is basically how good I can roll. So it is absolutely insane.
Looks like we are potentially getting ready for some early shots, actually.
Yeah, might be some long range sniping coming in there.
Doesn't seem to be any torpedoes though.
No, not quite within target lock range yet. So that looks like, yep. So that's 2 hits. I believe that's probably from Zori there. Then.
I think that was a measurement from Zori, yes, and that's just dodged, isn't it?
That's some great evades. And that was Agent Terex in the G. So not what you'd expect, to be honest. Agent Terex is going to be able to get a shot back into Veni. You don't expect much to happen here, though, with it being at range 3.
No, but I mean, you may as well take the shot.
Oh, yeah. If you have the shot...
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, if you have the shot, it's definitely worth taking it, especially when you've got this much health to get down. You're going to need to try and get as many shots in as possible. So I think at the moment they're just talking about Veni's ability there.
Yeah, whether or not he's going to get the extra focus result from presumably Zori's turret, but I can't actually tell quite which way her turret's pointing at the moment.
Zori's turret is pointing in this direction, down. So it's not
towards Veni, off to her side, sort of thing.
Yeah, so in this direction.
So yeah, that's probably not going to trigger then.
It's not going to trigger it, but they were having a bit of a debate as to whether it would trigger off of Veni's arc, because it doesn't say another ship, it just says a friendly ship.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess that would work for himself because it doesn't specify range.
And the reading of that is obviously you're friendly to yourself.
Yeah, and it doesn't specify range, so okay.
So that's quite a nice one there.
It's a ship I've not used much, to be honest. I'm not a massive fan, but this build on Veni does look durable, which is going to help out.
I mean, I will have to say that I wasn't sure on it. I finally picked one up and I went, I'm going to give it a go, because if you've got ships, you want to fly them. And I really enjoyed flying it, actually. I had some good fun with it. It's not the most difficult ship to fly, but it's also not the easiest. But it is still fun, which is always good.
Yeah. And
to be honest, most of the time, I'm more wanting to have fun than be really meta in gaming.
Definitely.
Like, I want to just see some cool ships on the board doing cool things. And if that means that the game lasts 20 minutes and I lose, that's fine.
So last round we focused quite a lot on the resistance stuff. Can we just talk about this new Kylo Ren? Because I'm looking at all of the actions that you can do. There's quite a lot there.
So that's because of the enhanced jamming suite. So he's got a fairly good action bar to start with. He's got focus to rotate, both white, evade, target lock, white, barrel roll to rotate, both white, boost to rotate. I think you can see a pattern here, all white.
Both white, yeah.
When you add enhanced jamming suite, which is a 0-point configuration card, but it does take the config and a mod text slot, it gives you more actions than you can shake a stick at. So you get focus to jam, barrel roll to jam, boost to jam, or just a straight jam. None of those are red. They're all white. There are no red actions
out of so many.
Yeah, I mean, this has 1, 2, 3, 4, technically 15 actions if you include the linkings.
I mean, it depends how. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing it's really missing on there is coordinate, reload, and slam.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's crazy, but obviously the enhanced jamming suite, it gives you this ability. So while you jam, you can choose yourself or another friendly ship. While you defend, if the attacker has no green tokens or there is a jam ship in the attack arc, you may roll 1 additional defense die.
And I think that if Kylo in this game in particular can, jam these Y-Wings and stop them even having a target lock for the Protons, then that's shut down like 24 points.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of points shut down there. And I mean, if you think about the wartime loadout as well, it's actually more like 32 points it's shut down because of the devastating barrage. So, but I mean, I do think that the TIE Whisperer is pretty cool. It's got a fairly interesting dial. It's got all of the hards that are white, the 2 through 5 straights that are blue, 2 and 3 banks that are blue. It's got the 3 sloops, and it's got the 4 and 5 K-turn. So it's definitely a ship that wants to go fast. And it's only got 2 agility, which is slightly odd, but with the enhanced jamming suite, it could possibly get around that.
Yeah, I think that's maybe what they are thinking of with the design of it, because 2 agility is good, but on a 5 health ship, it gets a bit worrying. But if the opponent can't mod their dice, then you're sitting far more comfortably.
Yeah,
and this Kylo has, I feel, a much better ability than the previous version.
Oh, absolutely. So before an enemy ship in your bullseye is dealt a face-down damage card, you may spend 1 force. If you do, that damage card is dealt face-up instead.
And that attack doesn't have to be from Kylo. It's just, are they in your bullseye and are they getting a face-down card? You could trigger it from a bomb, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, that is much better than I'll show you the dark side. Because that's almost I'll show you the dark side on steroids, because it's not just you get a pilot or ship card. I can't remember what it was. I literally never used it.
I think you pre-choose a pilot crit to then give them when they get a crit.
That sounds about right. To be honest, I only ever took Kylo Ren because he was an I5 with the Force, not for his ability.
Exactly.
So in fact, I'm pretty sure every time I've done it, I forgot to actually pick a crit card for it. So, yeah. I mean, we do that sometimes. We do pick ships purely because they're a specific initiative or there's something about that ship and you go, oh yeah, it's got an ability. I forgot about that.
Well, yeah, because in this game, Quinn's brought Agent Terex and has not used his ability to pass over the illicits.
True.
Granted, he can use them himself, but...
Yeah. I think one illicit I would have been tempted, possibly contraband cybernetics, but again, these two, Blackout and the TIE Whisper, they got good dials. I mean, they're really good ships. So, and their dials complement each other as well quite well. They've got similar. They're basic. They've got all the same basic maneuvers. It's just where those blues sit is a bit different. But yeah, I do like them. I was really concerned with the Whisper at first because I was trying to think, right, where's this going to fit in? You've already got the Silencer. You've already got the TIE Baron. How is the Whisper going to be different? And I think it's got enough, especially with the things you can add to it, the enhanced jamming suite, etc. It's got enough to make it
and
different.
Having the front and rear turret and the 3 bullseye, it's different enough that it's definitely going to make an impact. Particularly, I think Kylo. I mean, all of these ace kind of ships, you tend to gravitate towards the higher initiatives.
Oh yeah, definitely. It sort of works quite well. I mean, I actually went with a different one when I flew. I went with Whirlwind, and it didn't go so well for me. Whirlwind being the initiative 3.
So look at him. Before you engage, you may remove any number of jam tokens, then you may gain 1 focus token for each enemy ship that has you in its front arc.
So again, a really cool ability, especially when you can jam yourself.
Yeah.
So you could do you could do something like a boost jam and then go, right, well, okay, I'll just remove that, and there's 2 things facing me. I'll take those. I'll take 2 focus, please. But there's again, new ships. There's always so many interesting things to see and try to remember and work
everyone's
out.
trying to figure out the best thing to do with them. Like the wire wings, you got so many options. You could do like a turret build, you could do a bomb build. Here we've got the torpedoes. I do feel like Zori with torpedoes is going to be very good because of her ability.
Yeah.
After a ship at range 1 performs an action during its perform action step, if that action is on your action bar, you can spend your charge, which is recurring, to perform that action as red. And that also includes enemy ships performing actions.
Indeed. And in fact, there was a 5 dice concussion missile shot there. Sorry, proton torpedo shot there from Blackout. Unfortunately, not particularly effective, just 1 shield off of Wilsa.
An unfortunate shot, particularly for Blackout.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be hoping for far more than that.
Absolutely. You just want to really cause some pain. But again, it's almost like they just want to... Sometimes you just want to be able to use the stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's like, you know what, I'm not here to try and win. I want to try and pull off this crazy thing I can maybe do.
Yeah. Looks like we've now got Kylo going in to Veni, using Shattering Shot. And I think that's a concussion missile there with Trick Shot.
Ooh.
Is this going to be... This could be quite good.
Spends the target lock. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Spend a force, maybe?
Yeah, spending the force, so that's 4.
It's pretty good.
Looks like only 1 ship has Kylo in the turret, which is actually Veni himself.
I'm not sure on Veni. I always assumed a male, but to be honest, I'm not 100% sure.
Fair enough. But there we go. Gas Cloud plus the ability plus Perceptive Copilot, only taking 1 shield there. That's there's some expensive shots that aren't doing as much as you'd like.
You really hope to be doing more, especially using up your, torpedoes and missiles.
Yeah. Right.
It looks like maybe Wilsa is checking for a shot. Might have something against Kylo.
Actually, I think they're just backtracking a second.
Okay.
Wes actually rolled a dice for range 3 against the proton torpedoes, but torpedoes ignore range.
Yeah.
So they've just backtracked. Again, super friendly, super casual. Wes and Quinn, such nice people to play against. Like, always have great games. They're always happy to be like, well, actually, we made a mistake. Right, let's backtrack and just fix that. So that is another shield down on Wilsa. So a slightly more effective proton torpedo shot there.
Quick update, Veni is female.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, and is in the Cobalt Squadron book, which I've got but haven't read. Sorry.
Fair enough. But we do have Zori doing a proton torpedo shot at Kylo. And
crits.
It's a good job that there's a gas cloud there.
It looks like it might be a force being spent to change the eye, forgetting about the cloud.
Yep, that does happen sometimes. It's easily done, but let's have a look. No, he decided not to. There he is, remembered.
Cloud. Okay.
Good.
It's a good shot from the Y-wing, though.
Yes, I mean, very good shot. I just have to say, like, I wasn't sure on the Y-Wings at first, but now I've actually got my hands on them and had a game with them and seen a couple other people play them. I'm sold.
Yeah, I think
I'm
they
sold on them.
definitely fill a niche that the Resistance didn't have.
Yeah.
Like the T-70 X-Wings, they can fulfill a lot of roles. But for like a low agility but tanky ship, these Y-Wings are going to do it.
Yeah, because the Resistance didn't really have that before. I mean, yes, I know you've obviously got the Star Fortress, which we have on the board, which is low initiative, and
But it's
I
also
mean, it's
a
a
lot
tank.
more points than these Y-Wings are.
Yeah, and also those Y-Wings are more maneuverable as well. So that's another bonus there. And that was Agent Terex going into Zori. A couple of shields off there, so
Okay.
Agent Terex is looking to get himself promoted into a faster, more deadly ship. Because so far, he's the one rolling the best dice.
He's always after a promotion. That's
Yeah.
I think that was his thing. He was the villain in the Poe Dameron comics.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a great shot there from Venny.
No, it's not, is it?
Believe that's going into blackout.
He does have the focus. He could do the
Advanced
advanced
optics.
optics, and he's got the focus to do it. So why not? I think he's the last one to shoot.
Can he spend Ray on that, or does Ray have to be in the turret?
I'm not sure actually.
Oh,
Ray, while you defend or perform an attack, if the enemy ship is in your turret arc, you may spend a force to change a blank result to an evade or a hit result. Did he already spend the force on something else?
He's not spent the force, but that was a front arc attack into blackout.
So it wasn't the turret shot.
Yeah, but this is a veteran gunner attack, and this is going in at Kylo.
Smart. Veteran turret gunner letting you shoot again at someone else.
Yeah. Oh, and Quinn is once again saved by the gas card. He remembered it straight away this time. Yeah, I mean, veteran turret gunner on a ship like Venny is just, again, it's a good place for it because it gives you essentially a 270-degree arc there.
Yeah, having already got a front arc and then a double turret, it's the most arc you can ever have.
Yeah, I don't think any other ship can match that. I think the closest you can get to that is the fact that you might have munitions out the front on like some medium base ships like a K-Wing.
Yes, but veteran turret gunner specifies primary attack. So
it does indeed.
Still can't even do it then. Now we're getting to that point in the game that usually happens with me at least, where everyone goes, right, we've all shot, and now we're all going to fly into each other.
Yeah, it's very close in there.
Which I don't think is going to be great for these First Order ships.
No, I think Kylo is possibly in the best position here in that, depending on what Venny does, he's kind of got a bit more space to fly straight or fly round. But again, he's got to be careful of where Venny ends up. Because Venny
could position for a really good block here.
Terex is in an unfortunate position because he doesn't have a great dial and can't turn around quickly.
I mean, you might just do a stop.
He could just do a stop. I mean, it'd be interesting if both Venny and Terex both did a stop.
But at the same time, the Y-Wings are going to have to either go right around the cloud or just onto it.
I mean, they've got the dorsal turret, so it's not like they don't have to worry as much. They could.
I suppose so. Just slowly work their way around. And
they could take like a little bit longer. Come down here and just go turret to the middle of the board, catch whatever's there, and be fine.
And I guess you really want to avoid being behind the cloud or even on it because of all the trick shot and the shattering shot that the First Order have here.
But again, I just think it'd be really tough for Quinn to keep guns on target with both Blackout and Kylo. Maybe one of them. We never know. Blackout may decide to go back towards Quinn's board edge and round to try and intercept the Y-Wings, but I mean, that's a dangerous position if you've got two Y-Wings bearing down on you.
Yeah, I mean, both Kylo and Blackout are initiative 5, so you could get Kylo out of the way to let Blackout turn to his right and then maybe boost around a bit if needed.
Something a little bit here, and then
Yeah,
either
and
that
then
way
maybe
or
a boost. But
that way.
again, until you see where the enemy is, what do you do?
Yeah.
Also, First Order have initiative here, so Zori is actually going to move last, correct?
Yes. So Blackout and Kylo will go before Zori.
And if Zori bumps one of them, she might still have arc on something else with the turret out the side. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting turn, I think.
I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just having a double check on T-Rex's upgrades. So biohexacrypt codes, because they're just things I don't often see. So while you coordinate or jam, if you have a lock on a ship, you may spend that lock to choose that ship, ignoring range. Oh, okay, so if you lock someone, you can just jam them from wherever.
Yeah, or coordinate them from wherever. So it's...
Oh, true, yes. Interesting.
So you could basically go, right, first turn, I'm going to coordinate, I'm going to lock Kylo.
And save that for when they really need to coordinate.
Yeah, and then Kylo goes off, does his thing, Terex is somewhere else and just goes, oh, Kylo could really do with a barrel roll right now.
It goes on the comms, do a barrel roll.
Yeah.
Then he doesn't.
I mean, it's a 1-point upgrade. It's pretty good for what it does. Yeah. I mean, it's situational, but again, it's there. And
also, now that everyone's trying to get up to 200 points, if you've got a point spare, throw it on there.
Yeah.
You never know.
Absolutely. And again, rigged cargo shoot, again, is something we don't see very often, but action, spend 1 charge, drop 1 loose cargo using the 1 forward template effect. Loose cargo
I like
debris cloud.
I like this alongside the trick shot and shattering shot combo because it's just another obstacle on the field.
Absolutely. I mean, this is something that those of you that have watched the channel quite often know that Quinn does. His lists have a lot of interesting synergy. They don't necessarily have to do all the things together, but they're able to play off of each other quite nicely.
Like Quinn's attitude to list building is kind of scrolling through all the stuff and going, oh, trick shot. Maybe I'll do something with trick shot and go just all in on that. And it usually works in his favor.
Yeah. I mean, we were having a discussion the other day about concussion bombs. And,
yes.
And one of the things that I've seen Quinn do is have concussion bombs on a Y-wing, have that Y-wing facing the away from Wolf Warrow in the Aurzatuck, drop a concussion bomb on Wolf Warrow to trigger his ability, and then spend the next action for the Y-wing to reload so he doesn't have to keep shooting them out the back.
Oh, of course, the reload prevents that from happening.
And it's just like...
Because those bombs are new for me because I only just picked them up in the Y-wing pack. I was like, okay, so once you start dropping them, they're all going out the back. But I hadn't considered the reload as a way to stop that. And also, obviously, triggering your Wookiee's angry ability at the start of the game like that.
Yeah.
Very clever. I like it.
I mean, again, it's just the kind of things that Quinn looks at and just goes, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of people out there that will think it, but I think there'll be more people that would miss those sorts of things.
So it looks like both of the, I guess, support ships have just sort of carried on going out of the fight, really.
Yeah. They've kind of just accepted that it's going to take them a bit of time. I mean, Venny has rotated, so she can still shoot out the back.
That makes sense for her.
And it's something I do wish the G had was some way of equipping a turret, because
Yeah, not the best way of turning around, does it? It's
No,
got what, the 2 sharp that's white or the 3 sharp that's red, and that's
yeah,
it. Otherwise, it's just doing banks or stops.
that's it. I mean, it is the new Space Cow. So
But it's
it's
cheap, which makes up for a pretty abysmal dial, to be honest.
yeah. I mean, this build is 47 points with all those upgrades, and bearing in mind that Terex himself is 38 points, it just goes to show you how cheap those
Yeah.
upgrades actually are. So, in fact, I'm just having a quick look.
Ooh.
Oh,
Now, was that
that's
an attempt at some sort of K-turn as well?
I
Or was it
believe
just
it
going
was.
straight?
We'll see if a stress token goes down. Yep, there's a stress token. That was an attempt at a
Ooh.
K10. I did
Not
say
the best for
Venny.
Kylo.
No, I did say Venny was likely to get in the way there.
Yeah, I thought he would get in the way, kind of where he already was, to be honest.
Yeah,
Although Blackout is doing what I said, maybe. Although I don't think the boost would get arc on it.
it's so tough. Like, if he had Daredevil, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
But that bang boost, it both at the same time doesn't swing you around as far as you want it to, but also swings you around slightly further than you expect.
Yeah, I guess if you barrel roll and boost, you might get a shot, but also you don't have any mods, and you're going to have at least 2 Y-Wings shooting at you.
Yeah. And I think with that, barrel rolling backwards would have been slightly better. But
Yeah, I was surprised that he barrel rolled. Was it to the middle or was it to the front? Either
the
way,
middle.
not to the back. Then we've got Zori just sneaking between the cloud and Wilsa.
That's going to be a little bit unfortunate there for Zori, although she's going to get that range 1 shot. She can't use her proton torpedoes.
No, but
So 2 to 3
a range 1 shot with no returning fire
is always still good.
that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, actually no, I was going to say, is Blackout far enough forward to be in the bullseye for marksmanship? I don't think so.
No, doesn't look like it. They're quite parallel at the moment, and I believe that that's definitely not in.
Also, this round, Blackout is not behind a cloud.
True. That was a shot into Kylo there. 1 shield down. I think Zori actually went dorsal turret into Kylo.
You know what? You just bumped Kylo, and he's also a threat, I guess. It's
It's a tough one because obviously Kylo, although he doesn't have tokens, if he's got the Force, he's still got mod ability.
Yeah, I feel like Blackout might have been the one to go for because he's closer, but
Hold on, just double checking because so that might actually have been at Blackout actually there because Blackout's the one that's just lost the shield.
oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think it was a range 1 at Blackout there, and I think we're just
Maybe they were just seeing like, oh, what range is Kylo? It's like 2.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go for Blackout sort of thing. I do that all the time because you can measure as many shots as you want.
yeah. That is a proton torpedo into Blackout. That is not good for Blackout. That leaves him on 1 health, and that last one going in is a crit. So
He may have just blacked out.
yeah. Let's have a quick look and see the Quinn special for getting to get his damage deck out.
Face down, face down.
And it's a structural damage.
So now Blackout is flying an X-Wing.
Yeah. Basically.
And it's on 1 health.
1 health. That's really tricky. Does Venny have... Oh, Venny doesn't have a shot.
If Venny hadn't rotated, he would have had it.
Yeah. Oh, that's
well, he would have had a shot. He may not have got the kill.
I mean, he's got Terek still, but he could have had...
Yeah. I still think rotating the gun there is the right choice, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you maximise your potential there when you're thinking two things are definitely going to be behind me.
Also, planning for turns ahead. You're going to be going forwards for a while with stuff behind you. So.
Yeah. Oh, and that is Tarek showing Blackout how to evade.
Should coordinate him some green dice.
Yeah, absolutely. Too late for him to get a target lock.
Oh, that's true, actually. Zori didn't get an additional action, did she? Or maybe I missed it.
What, because of her ability? I don't think there's anything.
Did Wilson not do an action next to her?
I'm not sure, in fact. It could just be, in all fairness, it could just be new ship syndrome.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I watched Wes open this pack up on the day that we recorded
and then put
this.
the stuff on the table.
Yeah, he basically opened it up, put it straight on the table. So he's a very patient man. He doesn't feel the need to get straight down there to get it, unlike me. He's definitely more patient with that.
See, now you've got Venny, a lot of space to move around him, but you've got Kylo right behind. And particularly with Kylo's bullseye ability, could really lay in some really nasty crits.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I wouldn't do a stop. Oh, Kylo has to do something blue.
Yes.
So he can't K-turn.
Which for him is still a lot of options.
Yeah, he can't K-turn, but he can rotate his arc. But if I would be tempted with Venny to maybe look at just doing
a bank,
like a one bank to hit, because then that's going to give you a really good coverage.
It also really blocks that route between the cloud and the debris for Kylo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Potentially forcing another bump.
And to be honest, I think here, Venny's going to be quite good at just sort of like tying Kylo up. And it'll allow Zori and Wilson to try and concentrate on Blackout. Although he's only got 1 health, but if they can take Blackout off the board...
Yeah, it's a weapon that's not being shot ever again.
Yeah, I mean, Terex he's out for at least 2 turns at the moment.
Yeah, again, not being able to turn around quickly means that the resistance here can go, great, we can ignore them for a while.
Yeah. And again, I think that's one of the biggest downsides with the G-class is not being able to quickly turn around. You've almost got to like slow roll them in and then hope to sort of stay in that fight for quite a while. Unless everything is with you, taking that option to like re-engage.
Yes.
I mean, I do find it quite interesting that Quinn has got the 2 fastest ships on the board, yet neither of them have moved out of his half of the table.
That's true.
And Wes is now all just in.
Gunned it with those wirings. Yeah. Didn't even do the red booster with the wirings though. Yep. Just straight ahead.
Yeah.
Although actually the wirings do have the 5k turn. Which is a quick K turn, particularly for a Y-wing.
It's a brilliant option there. I think that's just a fantastic option.
Yeah, there's some real shenanigans you could put together for these Y-wings, particularly Zori with the illicit slot.
Yeah.
Like throw on, well, I was going to say contraband cybernetics, but you can put Babo Frick on and do all sorts of red stuff on a turn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just having a quick look at the comparison to the BTLA4 Rebel Y-Wing. And that's got the 4K turn, which isn't too bad, but I think that 5K turn is just slightly better. Slightly more clearance there, especially if you're trying to go over the top of something.
Or if you're dropping a bomb and then just getting out of there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Ooh, so the 1 hard there from Venny, evidently anticipating Kylo going a bit faster.
Not rotating the gun. Okay. Yeah, definitely anticipating Kylo going sort of straight ahead, at least into that rear arc.
Yeah, I think Kylo would... Venny's preferring to take that dual focus there.
Terex slowly turning around.
Executing a 3-point turn there. Actually, sorry, not a 3-point turn. Can't do that.
The U-turn.
The big U-turn. Remember, don't do that on the motorwheel dual carriageway, people. Get in a lot of trouble for that. Wills is in a tricky position because
probably going to bump.
Unless there's a 3 over the top. A 3 bank over the top.
Zori's at an angle, so I mean, I guess you try it anyway.
I mean, the 3 bank definitely fits.
Oh, 3 bank going that way. Okay.
Yeah. Because the 3 bank is huge. That's such a big maneuver.
I thought Wilson was just going to go straight.
Yeah.
For some reason.
No, I think I like that.
See, I think here I would maybe do a boost because Kylo isn't turning around because he's stressed.
Yeah.
Granted, you'll stress yourself, but you really keep that pressure on Kylo.
Looks like in the end, just taking that target lock there.
Okay, gearing up for torpedoes. How many of those are left?
So there are 1 proton torpedo on both Zori and Wilson.
And Blackout.
Blackout has 1, and Kylo has 2 concussion missiles left.
Okay, so everyone's fired 1 munition.
Everyone has indeed fired 1 munition.
Okay.
And we've still got that elusive rig cargo chute to come, but I don't think it'll be anytime soon.
Yeah, it's not going to be up there, is it? There is also a similar upgrade with the Y-wings that launches a debris cloud and you can clear target locks if you go through in
the electro chaff.
Yeah, it's
missile.
got a very spiky template.
Yes, I'm not going to lie. It's been sat. I've got both the Y-wing and the Fury of the First Order pack, so I've got 4 of those templates, and they've been sat on my desk. And they're one of those things. When you hold something and it just feels like there's something about it that you're like, I just can't help but just hold it, and that is definitely one of them. It sounds really weird, but it's quite it's quite a cool looking and feeling template.
It's definitely something you put on the table and you go, look out of this, rather than like a little square bomb. It's like, oh look, there's a little detonation radius. It's like blam. It's like something out of a comic.
Yeah.
Oh, and that is a definite bump from Blackout.
Oh yes, big bump.
I don't think anyone's shooting at him.
No, I think he's going to be okay.
Because I don't believe that Wilson's gun is facing backwards.
No, Wilson's gun is to ship right, so back into the middle of the board. Obviously,
Kylo.
Yeah, towards Kylo. Oh, is that a 1 bank from Zori there?
It is.
Or are we going to see a rotate?
I mean, I think you've got to rotate and try and finish the job there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the rotate.
There's the rotate. So, forget what I just said. There is a shot.
Well, I mean, Venny's still got a shot on Kylo as well.
Oh, sorry, I just meant Blackout.
Oh, yeah.
And... measuring here.
Kylo doing a rear...
Oh, of course, Kylo rotated, because that's not a red action for him, is it?
No, nothing's a red action for him.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
That's unfortunate. I'll roll a focus and get a focus.
Add the focus as well. Well, presumably you spent one of the perceptive co-pilot focuses to take no damage. But it's still a very healthy ship, isn't it?
That's why Venny is so good.
Maybe I should try Venny. I don't think I've tried him. Maybe that's the key that I'm missing with the Star Fortress.
Her.
Sorry, yes.
But I try Venny. Venny is really good. And
okay.
I mean, you don't have to have Rey on there. There's so many different things, but Venny is a really cool ship.
Yeah, worth pointing out though, Blackout did survive.
Yes, just.
And that's including the structural damage.
which is very impressive. I mean, Zori didn't do a great shot, if I'm honest.
That's from Wilson into
That's
Kylo. Is that 2 force being used to just take nothing?
no, that was the focus because it was a linked focus to rotate.
Oh, okay. I couldn't quite see the focus.
I don't think that was Wilson. I think that was Veni because it was the turret. Because Wilson, dorsal turret, would not have range.
True.
So that was
yes,
from
I saw
Veni.
2 dice and assumed it was the turret from Wilson, but you're right. That would be Vinny with her gun.
Indeed. Right, well, we are back to dials once again. Blackout's still surviving. But whilst they're setting those, just want to remind you guys that if you do enjoy what we're doing here on the channel, would love to support us. We do have a Patreon with our link in the description below. As I said, you can support us for as little as £2 a month. And when you start supporting us, you will get a shout out on the next video. And that leads me to a big shout out for Amy. So thank you very much, Amy, for supporting us on Patreon. It does mean a lot to us. And it allows us to keep doing this and hopefully build the channel to even better things in the future.
Yay for patrons.
But going slightly back a bit, we did mention the electro chaff missiles.
Yes.
So their list of effects, again, I think they just went, let's see what we can throw on things this time to make it confusing. So during the system phase, you may spend 1 charge from this card to launch 1 electro chaff cloud using the 3 bank or 4 straight template. Effect: while a ship is at range 0 of an electro chaff cloud, it cannot be locked, jammed, or coordinated by other ships. After a ship moves through or overlaps an electro chaff cloud, it skips its perform action step, then it gains 1 jam token and breaks all locks on it.
Yeah, it's interesting because you get the trade-off of, oh, you're jammed, but no target locks could save you, from torpedoes.
Absolutely.
All sorts of things.
Also, while a ship defends, if the attack is obstructed by an electro chaff cloud, it rolls 1 additional dice. Now, it doesn't stay there forever. You actually put a fuse token on this when you drop it. During the end phase, remove each electro chaff cloud with no fuse markers on it. Then remove 1 fuse marker from each electro chaff cloud. So you launch it, you put a fuse marker on it, it's there for a turn. Next turn, you remove that fuse, and then it disappears at the end of that turn.
I mean, it seems pretty good. At the moment, they are 4 points.
Yeah.
So that seems fine. I feel like a lot of missiles are much more utility focused than torpedoes. So
yeah,
you know what? That seems to fit. I like it. I'll definitely try it out at some point.
I think it could work in a list where you've got stuff like the Whispers in there that really like the jam.
Yeah.
Especially where you shoot it forward. It does take a missile and a device slot, so you do have to have both those.
I think we're just now having Terex coordinate an action for Blackout, and I think that was a target lock, maybe. I mean, there was a lot of pointing between ships, but there was definitely some kind of...
Yeah, I believe it was. There was contraband cybernetics flip, so doing the 2 hard and coordinating, so double stress now for Terex. But at least he's in a position to get back round quicker.
Yes.
But yeah, getting that target lock for Blackout onto Wilson.
Also very clearly going for Kylo here.
Yeah.
Blackout now has a lot of space to move around in.
I mean, I almost hope that Blackout does manage to... Oh, is that a K-turn? It is. Oh, that's a little bit disappointing.
It makes sense with the coordinate, though, to make sure there's some mods.
It does.
And now you're behind the cloud, so if the Y-wing, who's that, that's Zori, moves into range, you've got a decent shot with Blackout.
Yeah.
Kylo
doing the 3 sloop
through the cloud. Interesting. I kind of like it, because doing the sloop, you'll lose your action from the stress anyway.
Yeah.
And now you're sitting right behind a cloud to trigger any trick or shattering shot.
Absolutely. I didn't think of that, to be honest. I was looking at going, I would have gone the other way, but that makes a lot more sense. However, I do think that might be just outside of range 3, which would be a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, if the Y-Wings were a little closer, that'd be amazing. But I can see what Quinn's thinking.
Yeah, and
I think, well, that's what I'm thinking at least.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. I think we might have a range 3 shot from Blackout into Zori there.
I think so. And
that's obstructed. So that's going to be...
Now, was the coordinate for a target lock? Because that would be Blackout's last proton torpedo. And hopefully, at least for Quinn, a better proton torpedo than the start of the game.
It's hard to see, but I think it was on Wilsa.
Yes, that might have been it.
So,
still triggering Trickshot and Blackout's ability, though, which is always good to see.
I mean, we'll see how many dice Blackout rolls now. So it's 4.
Like
so
4.
I think that's just a normal attack.
Yeah, normal attack plus trick shot.
But nothing there.
Blackout.
Cocked die there, right in the very corner of the dice box.
The invisible dice box.
There we go.
And it's dodged. I feel a bit bad. I like the resistance, but seeing Blackout just whiff, especially with all of his abilities triggering, it's like,
I mean, he had the perfect one there. It was lined up to get a really good shot, and then
so you line up all these things. I feel like you deserve some damage at least.
Yeah.
So we're moving on to next. Looks like a turret shot out the side, maybe. Yeah, Kylo's out of range.
Yep, unobstructed as well.
Oh, is this the end of Kylo? Not Kylo, sorry, Blackout.
Blackout. It could be.
I saw a silencer and assumed Kylo, but he's not even in that ship at the moment.
F's in the chat for Blackout.
There goes Blackout.
He is the first casualty.
He's not had the best game, Blackout.
No. Which is a shame, because again, I like Blackout. He's a really cool ship.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit unfortunate.
5, decent ability. Yeah.
Decent ship as well. The silencer is a really good ship.
Those first rounds, he took no damage.
Oh, yeah.
And then he took a lot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But that's just what happens sometimes.
It was a very big hit for him that really set him spiraling, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now, whilst I was saying I liked Kylo's move behind the cloud to get all of the abilities, none of them triggered, and now he has to move back through the cloud.
Yeah.
And T-Rex appears to be too far away to really do anything.
I don't think there's a way that, well, for a start, T-Rex is double stressed, so he needs to get rid of those first.
Oh, that's also a problem.
So he's not going to be able to get round far enough to be able to actually help Kylo with coordinates there.
And now the Y-Wings are in a good position with Wilsa being the lower initiative at the front.
Yes.
Means they can go much quicker towards Kylo.
Yeah, because they don't have to attempt to leapfrog each other.
But having said that, it's still Kylo. He can really do some damage, I think.
Especially if he can get that bullseye on.
Well, he's got to get through the 5 shields.
Well, it's only 3 now.
It's 3
now.
2
of them are gone.
2 of them. But, he's still got to get through the shields.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it, Wes has lost the same amount of health that Kylo is.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, again, I know you've got the trade-off of the low agility on those ships, but at the moment, I still think they're a solid option. Wartime loadout, I'm a big fan, really big fan of that.
I mean, you could have wartime loadout and a shield upgrade instead of the hull upgrade, potentially.
Calm it down, all right? That's just rude. That's crazy talk.
And throw on like R2D2 astromech and keep fixing the shields. You can do some really crazy things with this. This is what I'm saying.
Now you are being super rude, but I like it.
Actually, what is the new astromech that came with these guys? L4ER5.
L4ER5.
Oh, you can move a calculator to a friend. Yeah, that's fine.
And then there's also the Watchful Astromech, which off the top of my head,
Yes.
can't remember what he does either.
Watchful action asks you to perform a reload or rotate action. If you're in an enemy ship's firing arc, you may perform a red calculate action. Which is really annoyingly worded because the same as the named one actually, which gives you the rotate into calculate. It doesn't technically give you a calculate on your action bar, which means that the C3PO crew that lets you go, oh, you've got calculate on your ship. I'll coordinate you from anywhere. That still doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I guess that is to limit that ability, but I never see it used. And I want to.
Yeah. It's difficult though, especially if you're not running separatists.
Definitely.
And most factions don't have a lot of ships that actually have a native calculate. So I think other than the separatists, Scum might be the main one that has it with the IGs and
yeah, but they don't have 3PO.
Yeah, but they don't have 3PO. Yeah, because what has a native calculate? Is that's the resistance?
It's the resistance 3PO. You have to use one of the other crew cards that gives a calculate,
or maybe BB-8 in the transport pod.
Yeah, okay. If you want to take him,
that's the only other option I can think of that would give you a native calculate.
Yeah, I think that is kind of it. But it looks like we've got Venny facing down Agent Terex.
Yep.
And although actually no, I was going to say if Venny's gun were pointing sideways, could potentially shoot both Terex and Kylo.
Which would be insanely rude, but also cool. But it does look like Kylo will have bullseye on Wilsa.
Ooh.
Admittedly, it's not really going to help much because it needs to get...
Well, if you've got the bullseye, though, you've got 3 dice natively. If it's also range 1 in the bullseye, that's 4 dice. You could potentially get a crit through.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't seen a lot from Kylo is jamming, actually, looking at it.
Yeah. That's not going to do much.
Who was that? That was
Kylo into Wilsa.
Oh, of course, Kylo has initiative.
That's quite disappointing.
Quite.
Extremely disappointing.
That's the sort of thing where Kylo goes back to his room and trashes the place.
Yep. I mean, I think that's the point where Kylo just parks back on one of the Star Destroyers and trashes the ship.
Yeah. Rather than 2 stormtroopers walking down the corridor, there's 2 TIE fighters coming into land. They go, you know what, let's land on a different Star Destroyer.
Yeah. And I think that is actually a proton torpedo back in at Kylo.
A crit is being changed.
Fortunately, it wasn't a great roll there, actually.
No, not in the bullseye, so can potentially dodge the crit, but doesn't.
So just the shield, though. So fortunate there.
And currently, no torpedoes on Zori, but as you mentioned, and I always forget about it because I'm not used to ships having it, a reload option.
Yes. It's not something that gets used very often, to be honest.
I don't feel like there's a lot of ships that have it natively. It's always been like, oh, with this extra thing, you can now reload. Or maybe I just don't use those ships. I'm, mostly resistance, and these are one of the few guys that have it.
Yeah, and I think one of the things with reload as well is the fact that you have to take that disarm makes it a bit... One of those ones where you're a bit like, oh, do I want to do that?
See, this is how little I use reload. I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. But we do have another shield coming off Venny there. Oh no, spending Rey.
Good old Rey.
Rey in all her forms is just very frustrating if you're flying against her. If you're using her, great. If you're flying against her, frustrating.
I do like that we've also got the kind of Rey versus Kylo Ren going on with this as well.
Yeah, and I don't think they've shot at each other yet.
Is there a focus to spend? No, there's not. But it's still, dice.
Hey, there's the evade. That's Agent Terex again.
Terex has been doing pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Oh, but we do have a double tap because the turret arc is there. Again? Wow. Terex is just being ridiculous. Is Terex the interceptor in this game? At least for the evading side of things. If I remember rightly, he had like one of the good attacks earlier as well.
He's doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically half the points of Kylo, and he's putting more work, to be honest, at the moment.
I feel like I might need to actually use the G. I mean, Terex is in a bit of an unfortunate position here because I think Benny's going to be going over that cloud regardless because she has a stress.
True, she can't just stop.
Yeah, but I think she may end up blocking Terex, which is going to be a shame.
Yeah, Terex still needs to do some blues and doesn't have many options. Terex can go speed 1 or 2 forward or banks as blue, and that's it.
I think you've got to dial in a 2 bank into the middle of the board is what you've got to do, because Terex needs to be getting up here a bit more to try and actually do something.
I think so. What do you think Kylo does?
Faces down someone with a lightsaber and watches the ship go spinning around him.
Well, maybe, but
I would. Let's have a quick look at the dial again.
Do you think what's he got? He's got the 3 sloop, hasn't he?
He's got the sloops.
Do you reckon sloops down towards the bottom of the screen and turns around and just faces the middle of the board?
Maybe, or a 4K.
Yeah.
It's risky with that debris cloud.
I don't think it would hit the debris. I think he would be all right. So maybe that, but at the same time, you wouldn't have any mods again.
Well, if Terex could actually complete that 2 bank with Veni not getting in the way. Oh no, because he'd skip his action step for going over
he's going over the cloud no matter what.
That's a shame.
What do you think? Send a coordinate action off?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, there's.
Benny's doing a bank.
That's not going to fit. So Benny is.
No, it's not.
That's one big base.
So effectively doing a stop, kind of. Although actually, Venny is now on a cloud.
It's a bit more of a rotate, yeah. Oh, so if Kylo, for some reason,
has a decent shot
went to the
only
left,
Venny, could trigger the shattering shot, which I do want to see.
Yeah, I mean, there is that 2 bank, and that does clear.
So goes over the cloud, presumably, but is no longer stressed.
Indeed. So for me, I would say that either a 4K or a 3 sloop are fairly good options for Kylo, because he needs to turn it. Or he's got the gun in the rear arc. Actually,
oh, that's true. Yeah, the gun's already facing backwards. So maybe you do kind of just try and move to where Wilson currently is. Maybe get a rear shot on them, and then take the front shot on either Venny or potentially Zori, depending on how that goes. There's the 5K.
Yeah.
Just super speed over there.
Absolutely insane.
Swinging those massive engines around. Kylo is, I think that was the 4. No, he's just going forward 2. Okay.
Interesting. Maybe assuming that someone was going to be there.
What actions Quinn is thinking about, barrel roll and maybe block a slow move from Zori, or maybe trying to get out of arc of Wilson, because I think they have the target lock still from earlier.
Yeah, could be. Could be trying to trigger trick shot and shattering shot out the back.
Oh yes, of course.
I don't think I don't think, unfortunately, I don't think that's obstructed. I was just having a quick look. Obviously, Launch Bay isn't quite updated with it at the moment, although fantastic job they've done of getting most things on there. But obviously, the Whisper does have the heavy weapon turret as its native ability. You can rotate your turret indicator only to your forward or rear. You must treat the forward arc requirement of your missile upgrades as the arc indicator. So he could shoot a concussion missile out the back. So he could have stayed there, target locked, and potentially. But again, and not also, much after that.
If Kylo had stayed put, would that have bumped Zori?
I think it would have.
Let's see. It's a good evade, though.
That's some good evading there.
Who are we over to next? I guess Zori's next.
No, that was Zori. Now to Wilsa.
Sorry, that was Zori. Now it's Wilsa. Looks like carrying on into Kylo. 4 dice, so that's probably a proton.
That's the final proton torpedo.
So it spends the lock to reroll everything but the crit. The crit got knocked down to that, so 2 crits.
Ooh, but
unfortunately, no focus. I do feel like Zori with protons is going to be a thing though with her ability. And
that's both crits going through. That's Kylo Ren.
One.
Yeah, sorry, one.
It's a crit,
and that's a fuel leak.
Well, I mean, on 1 health, that's probably the best crit to get.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a nothing crit at this point.
Being on 1 health, not great.
Terex. Range.
Presuming into Zori at range 1.
1 into Zori, yeah. Spend target lock, why not?
2 hits.
Got 1 through. That's another shield off Zori. Getting there, slowly but surely.
And these resistance ships are just tanking everything.
They really are.
Although, I guess the First Order haven't had many good shots this game.
I will admit, the First Order haven't had the opportunity to have many good shots, and when they have had them, unfortunately, and I know it's always one of those ones, you've got to be a bit careful how you say this, but the dice have kind of gone away from Quinn in the attacking area.
Yes.
He has had, I would say, lower than average dice in this one.
More damage should definitely have come from Blackout in 2 notable, like that first shot with the torpedo should have done more damage, and that shot before he died should have also done more damage.
Yeah, and I think Wes has just been able to get himself. Admittedly, Wes having the ability to have essentially a 270-degree arc on Venny and a 180-degree arc on Wilson and Zori. With that information, knowing where things are, he's able to move that dorsal turret effectively. So he's really utilised that quite well.
Yeah, and Terex taking his time turning around is just the opposite of that entirely.
Yeah, it's a massive shame with Terex. It's just...
But he's doing all right on his dice.
Yeah.
He's hanging in there. He's not been hurt.
I mean, he's the only ship that's on full health. Everything else is taking at least 1 damage.
I guess in some ways a bit annoying for Quinn because Terex has Fanatical as an upgrade.
Yeah, so he kind of like, can you take the shields, please, so I can do something with that? So it is one of those odd situations to be in, but...
I think also the positioning after that initial sort of combat round where everyone was like, I don't want to bump, and everyone kind of just went off in their own directions, ended up really being better position-wise for the Resistance.
Yeah.
Like the First Order got completely split up. Resistance sort of sat in the middle with all the turrets just pointing every direction, taking shots kind of thing.
Yeah. And the fact that Venny was able to move first, she was able to put herself in a great position to really mess up Kylo. If Kylo had been able to pull off that 5k and stick closer to Blackout, that would have been
very different. Also, I think potentially would have had some bullseye shots had Kylo turned around.
Yeah. I think we would have possibly seen a concussion missile or some
Yeah,
really good bullseye action there into Veni.
looks
So
like some finger pointing. Like a bit of finger pointing. Oh, are you going over here? You're in this little space around here, and then something in that direction. Yep.
So I know that obviously Quinn and Wes were having a bit of a chat while they were playing. Again, Wes was really unsure what to do with Veni, and was sort of asking Quinn, and Quinn admittedly said to him,
Just
"I haven't
turn
got a
around,
clue."
do a
Yeah,
too sharp, stay in the fight sort of thing.
yeah. He's like, "Well, whatever happens, you're going over that obstacle, so you can't avoid that."
And you know you're not going to be able to rotate the gun, so you may as well turn as tight as you can. I'm guessing that's what he's done.
Yeah.
And yes, he has.
Too high.
That-
And I think that's brilliant because you're almost guaranteeing.
Yeah, I mean,
that
it's
you're
one
gonna
of those
have something-
moves where, yes, it's very telegraphed that you're going to do that, but at the same time, it's still the best thing to do.
I mean, at the same time, you've got 12 health on that thing, and there's
Yeah.
less than 2.5 minutes left. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Veni's lost one shield so
Yeah.
far.
Oh, I like this positioning from Terex. He doesn't have a shot, but well,
I reckon he's gearing up to drop a rigged cargo ship.
yeah, Rick Cargo
Yeah,
shit.
there it is.
And the thing, this template is huge as well. It's a massive template.
It is. It is very
lands
big.
right
It's
on
also-
Zori.
It's also a thing that you can drop as an action rather than
The
System
payload,
phase.
yeah. So it's almost like an old school bomb.
yes.
So
Granted, the effects aren't nearly as bad as a bomb,
Oh,
but
no.
stressing a ship before it's moved and revealed its dial. Like if
Yeah.
Zori's trying to do a red move, she is
not
just
anymore.
going forward.
Yeah.
Just clipping the cloud could mean good news for Kylo.
Yes, if Kylo were to do
Getting
say,
a very good shot out the back.
if Kylo were to bump into Terex or do a 4K over the top,
Yeah, I do like the shattering shot. Just needs to have them on an obstacle.
Yes.
Obviously shooting through as well as being on it. I think Kylo's going still facing to the rear, so that's looking promising.
It does look like. In fact, that looks like an even better option. So,
Who's target lock? Going for Zori, maybe. It's definitely taking the target lock to go for a rear concussion missiles.
Yes,
Going
absolutely.
for Zori. I guess Zori is on slightly lower health, having not got the hull upgrade. So.
Zori was actually doing a
Points.
blue one forward.
That is fortunate for Zori to
Must
clear the
have-
stress from that sudden cloud.
Must have anticipated that, to be honest.
Maybe. I mean, it's also a Y-wing, and they do tend to suddenly just go, you know what, let's just go one forward and see where everyone is.
Yeah, one forward to victory.
Especially if you're moving last and you can rotate your gun.
Yeah.
So, is that obstructed?
It's not.
It's not, is it? I mean, it's still, firing a concussion missile out the back, still pretty
Yeah.
darn cool. But it's not as cool as a rear shot concussion missile through a cloud, triggering trick shot and shattering shot.
Yeah, I mean, that would be insane.
We'll see it somewhere.
Yeah,
Someone will pull
say.
it off.
I mean, that'd be what, 4 dice adding a focus.
You've got all sorts of things.
I mean, I'd still love to see a proton torpedo or an advanced proton torpedo out there. Oh no, I probably wouldn't be able to do the advanced torpedo because there's no rear bullseye.
True, that one you wouldn't be able to do.
But yeah, a proton torpedo out the back with trick shot and shattering shot.
Oh,
that's
That's
good. Definitely spend that force.
yeah.
Oh, that is shat.
Oh, they declared it was obstructed.
Oh,
I guess. Yeah, because Zori's added an extra green dice for the obstacle.
yeah.
They said it's obstructed. Okay, cool. We are seeing the combo.
Wow.
And
That's painful.
as expected, 5 hits from
So that's
all of the mods, and one of them is a crit.
and the crit is
I mean, it's not going to be
I mean, it's not going to
quite
affect
enough,
anything.
but
Oh,
did we not
don't know.
get the cards out?
Not in
So,
touch.
I mean, Zori would live anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Zori will live
Lives
anyway.
on 2. If the crit was a direct hit, then 1 health. But
Yeah,
it looks like that got forgotten. Oh well,
but
it's a friendly game.
it's a friendly game. Gets the shots
Zori
in.
is just angry this game.
Yeah, there is Terex finally taking some damage.
It's like flying out to the first door and just going, "Get out of Kajumi, just go."
Yeah. And then we've got Wilsa.
Also going for Terex.
Yeah, with the target lock. Kylo looks like he might survive this. Unless Benny gets a double tap in there.
I feel like Kylo's out of range for Benny.
Possibly.
It's close. It's also going to be range 2 obstructed if there is a shot there.
Well, it's range 2 to Terex there. That's hit crit. I mean, seriously, Quinn? How are you rolling all these evades on the G class? That's insane.
Yeah. What?
I
mean, I guess dropping the cloud behind does immediately give you that cover and the extra die, but what?
I mean, that's still absolutely crazy. I mean, that game was just odd to say the least. Like the resistance.
Despite the resistance, quite clearly winning on points, it still felt very close. Like Quinn was flying the first order really well.
Yeah.
He triggered so many abilities together. He got blackout stuff to all happen. He got Kylo's reverse missile shot to happen.
Yeah. I think the only thing that wasn't triggered in there was the biohexacrypt codes. And you know what?
They're 1 point.
They're 1 point. Wes managed to trigger pretty much all of his stuff as well.
Unfortunately, Blackout couldn't quite capitalize on it. But I think everything else got triggered. I think Zori's ability did get missed a bit.
Again, as we said, new ship syndrome is easily done. But I have to say, that was a brilliant game for both
I forgot
players.
to even think about Wilson's ability. What do they do? After you perform an attack, if the defender was dealt a face-up damage card, they can either take a strain or lose a charge from an upgrade. Okay, that's pretty good.
It's not too bad. Didn't really come into play. But,
no, I didn't.
But yeah, I mean, that was a great game. So I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I hope you did as well.
Yeah, it's great to see new ships on the board.
I mean, it's always good to see new stuff. Yeah. We've got a bit of time to wait for the next set of new stuff, but I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, James, thank you very much for joining us to commentate this game.
You are welcome.
And hopefully we'll see you again on the channel soon. But guys, again, thank you very much for watching. As always, do like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you do want to support us, the link for Patreon is down below. But in the meantime, we will see you next time.